Hi, this is Dr. PJ. Thank you for watching my channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about different testing for C19. There are several types of testing, two main categories. One is a diagnostic test, which is PCR, also known as a molecular test that's highly accurate, but takes a while and is limited in supply. The other is an antigen test, which tests for viral proteins and is quick and cheap and has a lower sensitivity and is less accurate than the PCR test. The other category is an antibody test, which is not a nasal swab like the first two, but it's a blood test. And this blood test doesn't check necessarily for active infection, but it checks to see if you have been infected previously with C19 and developed antibodies to that virus. Let's talk a little bit more about antibodies and your body's immune system and the reaction so that you can understand the complexities of an antibody test and hopefully what this means when you get one. So, when your body is infected by a virus, that virus has certain proteins, and in the case of C19, a spike protein that your body looks at, your immune system recognizes, and it produces an antibody to go and attack that virus. That antibody sticks on to a specific part of that virus to help neutralize it, to prevent it from invading your cell, and also to help signal other parts of your immune system to go attack that virus. So, when you build an antibody, it takes a little while for your body to ramp up that response. Usually it's in the order of about a week or so when you first see a new virus. After you see that virus, then your body's immune system has a library where it remembers that virus and keeps that antibody kind of in the back storage room. The next time you get infected with that virus, instead of taking a week or so to produce that antibody, your immune system can produce it right away within a day or two and go and attack that virus before it has a chance to reproduce in big enough numbers to cause a lot of harm. That's how your immune system is supposed to work. That's actually how vaccines work, by stimulating your antibodies. But as far as testing goes, testing for an antibody does not tell you when you were infected or if you're actually currently infected, because it's just testing for your reaction. So if your antibody test is positive, that means that your body has antibodies to the virus. It doesn't tell you when you were infected. It doesn't tell you how long you were affected or how severe it was. It just says that you were infected and your body had a response to it. This has to be taken in context, because if you were infected a week or a week and a half ago and you're still having symptoms and your antibodies are positive, you probably have C19 and you're probably on the tail end of your active infection. If you have no symptoms and your antibody test is positive, then it's likely that you were infected with C19 previously, and if you didn't have symptoms, you were one of the asymptomatic people. There are some limitations to the antibody testing. One is that initially there were hundreds of antibody test companies around of variable reliability, meaning the tests were not good. So if you got one of those and you had a positive test or a negative test, we don't really know what that means. Now there are many more antibody tests approved by the FDA that are more reliable. There are some other limitations though, and one of the main ones is cross-reactivity. So to understand cross-reactivity, we have to know that the antibodies are specific for the C virus. But there are 7 different kinds of C virus that infect humans. 4 of them are the common cold viruses that have been around for years, and 3 of them are actually the ones that are really dangerous, like the first SARS, back in the early 2000s. Then there was the MERS virus, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, and those are both C viruses. So if you had either one of those, or just the common cold C virus, then the antibodies that are being detected by these tests may be antibodies to one of those previous viruses, not the current one. We're not sure what percentage there is of cross-reactivity to previous C viruses, so that is kind of unclear at this point. But that's how antibody testing works, and I hope this information was helpful to you. Thanks, and stay safe.